10 Reasons Why the Rich Get Richer. By David Russo. Chapter 1. They understand the game. The rich get richer because they see money as a tool, not a goal. Most people are playing a game they don't even know exists. They go to school, get a job, work hard, and hope that somehow, one day, they'll be financially free. But for the rich, the path looks different, not because of luck, but because of perspective. They understand that money works according to rules, and they've taken the time to learn those rules. The average person sees money as something to earn and spend. It comes in through a paycheck and goes right back out through bills, debt, and lifestyle expenses. For the wealthy, money is a resource. It's not about how much you earn, it's about what you do with what you earn. The rich don't just ask, "How can I make more money?" They ask, "How can I make money work for me?" The game the wealthy play is called capitalism, and it rewards ownership, leverage, and value creation. The people who understand this don't just work for money, they build or buy systems that generate money. They buy assets that grow. They start businesses. They invest early and let time do the heavy lifting. They don't just hustle harder, they play smarter. You've probably heard stories of people who worked hard their whole lives and still struggled financially. That's because hard work alone doesn't guarantee wealth, understanding the game does. The rich know where to focus their energy, not just on earning income, but on building wealth. Here's the truth, everyone is playing the money game, whether they know it or not. But only those who learn the rules get to win. And the first rule is this: money is a tool. Learn how to use it. Chapter 2. They own, not just earn. The rich get richer because they own the things that make money, even when they're not working. Most people earn money through a job. They exchange their time for a paycheck. And while there's nothing wrong with working for a living, it comes with a limit: you only earn as long as you work. If you stop working, the money stops too. The rich operate differently. They focus on ownership. Instead of just working for money, they buy or build things that continue to make money, even when they're asleep, on vacation, or spending time with family. These things are called assets, and they're the foundation of long-term wealth. Assets come in many forms: real estate, stocks, businesses, intellectual property, and more. What they all have in common is this: they generate income or grow in value over time. A rental property brings in rent. A business produces profit. A stock pays dividends and appreciates. These are the tools the wealthy use to multiply money without trading time. Here's the key difference: income feeds you today, assets feed you forever. The rich don't just ask, "How much can I earn this year?" They ask, "What can I own that will pay me for years to come?" That shift in thinking changes everything. It leads them to invest instead of consume. To build instead of just earn. To think like owners, not just workers. If you study wealthy people, you'll notice something: they don't depend on one income stream. They build multiple flows of income from assets they control. That's why losing a job or facing a market downturn doesn't ruin them. They've created a financial ecosystem that continues to generate wealth. Owning assets isn't just about money, it's about freedom. The freedom to choose how you spend your time. The freedom to walk away from a job you don't like. The freedom to build the life you want, not just the one you can afford from a paycheck. If you want to move from surviving to thriving, start thinking like an owner. Ask yourself, what can I build or buy today that will still pay me tomorrow? That's the path the rich walk. And that's one of the biggest reasons they keep getting richer. Chapter 3. They build wealth with other people's money. The wealthy continue growing their fortunes because they don't limit themselves to their own wallets. Most people grow up hearing advice like, "Only spend what you've earned, avoid debt, and pay everything in full." While this sounds safe, it also caps what someone can do financially. The affluent operate from another frame of mind. They understand leverage, the power of using money that isn't theirs to create more money. This isn't about maxing out credit cards or borrowing without a plan. It's about using outside capital deliberately to acquire assets and opportunities that generate income. That's how they scale quickly, buying properties, expanding companies, and taking advantage of investments others can't reach because they're waiting to save enough. Take real estate. A typical buyer might spend years stockpiling cash to buy a house outright. A wealthy investor? They'll let the bank fund the purchase, rent the property, and let the rent payments handle the loan. The mortgage gets paid by the tenant, the investor keeps the property, and any extra income becomes profit. That's leverage at work. Businesses function the same way. Many successful entrepreneurs didn't become wealthy by draining their own savings. They raised capital from lenders, partners, and investors. Their ideas were the engine, other people's money became the fuel. The wealthy understand something fundamental: money is constantly moving, you just have to give it a direction. If you bring a sound plan, a skill, or a profitable opportunity to the table, there are plenty of people and institutions willing to fund it. Wealthy individuals learn how to pitch value, speak the language of returns, and form relationships that unlock capital. Meanwhile, many people stay stuck because they fear debt or risk. They only trust what's already in their account, and as a result, their financial progress crawls or stalls completely. Used correctly, other people's money speeds up success. It amplifies what's possible. But it demands discipline and strategy, traits the wealthy take seriously. Here's the mindset shift. Most people are trained to fear debt. The wealthy are trained to use it. Not all borrowing is dangerous. Many of the world's richest individuals got there by using debt to acquire assets, grow companies, and produce steady cash flow. The trick is borrowing for investment, not consumption. When you start asking, how can this create value, instead of, can I afford this, you step into an entirely different wealth mindset. That's how the rich continue to widen the gap. Chapter 4, they understand the tax system better than anyone else. Another reason the wealthy stay ahead is simple: they understand the rules that govern taxes, and they use them as they're intended to be used. Most people treat taxes like an unavoidable force. You earn, the government takes a piece, and you carry on. But the wealthy don't just accept their tax bill, they study the system, get professional guidance, and structure their money so they keep more of what they create. The tax code rewards certain activities: building businesses, offering housing, taking financial risks, and creating jobs. Those who do these things get access to deductions, credits, and benefits most people never use simply because they don't know they exist. Most employees get taxed before they spend a dollar. Business owners do the opposite: they earn, reinvest, or write off legitimate expenses, and get taxed last. That single difference can mean massive savings over a lifetime. This is why someone running a business can pay fewer taxes than someone earning the same amount from a job. The system isn't broken, it simply benefits those who understand how to use it. The wealthy don't wait for tax season and hope for the best. They plan all year, with accountants and advisors who help them make strategic decisions before it's too late. They build wealth with foresight, not guesswork. And here's the key: none of this information is exclusive. Anyone can learn it. But most people never take the time, which is why their tax burden stays heavy and their wealth grows slowly. If you earn money and live in a society built on taxes, understanding that system is one of the most powerful skills you can have. The rich know this. That's why they protect their income, scale faster, and stay far ahead. They don't cheat. They just understand the rules, and they play the game intelligently. Chapter 5, they learn from other rich people. The rich get richer because they surround themselves with wealth, in mindset, conversation, and connection. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That idea captures a simple but powerful truth: the people around you shape your thinking, your habits, and your opportunities. The rich understand this instinctively. They don't just network casually, they build deliberate circles of influence, mentorship, and collaboration. When you spend time with people who have already achieved what you want, you start to think and act differently. You gain access to knowledge, advice, and opportunities that might otherwise remain out of reach. This is more than just socializing, it's a form of education, exposure, and acceleration. Rich people don't waste time in conversations about complaints or limitations. Their discussions often revolve around investments, strategies, business ideas, and growth. By listening to successful people, you learn what works, what doesn't, and how to avoid common mistakes. Mentorship is a huge part of this. Many wealthy individuals credit mentors or advisors who help them see things clearly and avoid pitfalls. A mentor is someone who's walked the path before you, someone who can guide, challenge, and open doors. The rich seek out this guidance because they understand the value of learning from experience without having to pay the full price themselves. Besides mentors, wealthy people build powerful networks. They join groups, attend events, and create communities where money, ideas, and opportunities flow freely. These networks can lead to partnerships, funding, deals, and collaborations that multiply wealth faster than going it alone. In contrast, many people stick to their comfort zones, associating mostly with friends and family who share similar financial struggles or limited mindsets. That's not a criticism, it's human nature. But it does limit growth. The environment you choose becomes your environment of possibility. This is why who you learn from matters as much as what you learn. There's also a mindset shift that happens when you spend time with the wealthy. You start to believe bigger things are possible for you. You stop seeing wealth as a distant dream and begin seeing it as a natural outcome of certain choices and actions. The rich don't hoard knowledge or success, they often share it with their circles because they know wealth grows through collaboration. When you're surrounded by ambitious, successful people, your own drive and confidence increase. So, if you want to break through and grow your wealth, start with your circle. Seek out people who challenge you, inspire you, and show you what's possible. Join communities, attend seminars, or simply reach out to mentors. The rich get richer not just because they have money, but because they have the right company. Chapter 6, They Think Long-Term. The rich get richer because they think in years, not paydays. One of the most important reasons the rich keep getting richer is their ability to look beyond the immediate moment. While most people focus on short-term gains, what they can earn this week, this month, or this year, the wealthy think in terms of decades, sometimes even generations. They play the long game. This long-term mindset changes everything. It affects how they save, invest, spend, and grow their wealth. They understand that building lasting wealth doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, discipline, and a clear vision of the future. Many people fall into the trap of wanting quick results. They chase instant gratification, buying things they don't need or taking on debt to keep up with others. This short-term focus often leads to stress, financial strain, and missed opportunities. The wealthy, on the other hand, are willing to delay gratification because they see the bigger picture. Think about investing, for example. The rich know that the power of compounding works best over time. By investing early and letting their money grow year after year, they build a snowball effect that becomes unstoppable. They don't panic when markets dip or when returns aren't immediate, they stay committed because they understand time is their greatest ally. This long-term thinking also influences how they approach their careers and businesses. Instead of hopping from job to job chasing a quick raise, they invest in skills, relationships, and ventures that build value over years. They're willing to put in the groundwork, knowing that real growth takes time. Another way the rich think long-term is through legacy planning. They don't just want to be wealthy in their lifetime, they want to create wealth that lasts beyond them. This means setting up structures like trusts, educating their families about money, and making strategic decisions that protect and grow their assets for future generations. It's not about being perfect or never making mistakes. It's about being consistent and patient. It's about knowing that real success often looks quiet and slow in the early stages but explodes with momentum over time. If you want to start thinking like the rich, ask yourself, where do I want to be financially in 5, 10, or 20 years? Then, make choices today that align with that vision. Avoid the trap of living paycheck to paycheck or chasing every shiny opportunity. Focus on steady, deliberate growth. Remember, wealth built overnight often disappears just as fast. But wealth built over years stands strong and grows. The rich get richer because they understand this truth. They play the long game, and the game rewards patience. Chapter 7, They Create Machines That Run Themselves. The wealthy continue to grow richer because they build money-making machines that don't rely on their constant presence. One of the biggest distinctions between wealthy people and everyone else is this. Most people work for money, while the rich build systems that work for them, every hour, every day, even when they're nowhere in sight. Many individuals depend entirely on their own effort. They exchange their time, hours, shifts, projects, in return for income. But time is a limited resource. When you stop working, the income stops too. There's a ceiling on how far effort alone can take you. The wealthy operate with a different philosophy. Their focus is on creating or acquiring assets and structures, businesses, investments, automated processes, technologies that can produce income on autopilot. These systems can grow far beyond what any single person could accomplish manually. Take an entrepreneur as an example. Instead of doing every job themselves, they hire talent, design repeatable processes, and use automation to handle routine tasks. Because of this, the business can expand, reach more customers, and generate profits even when the owner is on vacation or asleep. It's like planting a tree that continues to bear fruit with minimal maintenance. The same principle applies to real estate. Investors who build portfolios and hand day-to-day responsibilities to managers allow their properties to generate steady cash flow without requiring their daily presence. Even investors rely on systems. Automated deposits, diversified portfolios, strategic reinvesting, these mechanisms allow their wealth to grow quietly and consistently in the background. Why is this important? Because depending solely on your physical effort means you're limited by your energy and schedule. Systems, on the other hand, allow your income to expand without increasing your workload. They break the trap of trading hours for dollars. Systems create freedom, the freedom to choose how you spend your time, pursue new ideas, or simply rest without sacrificing income. Wealth is not just about money, it's about owning your time. This perspective is what separates entrepreneurs from employees, investors from savers, and wealthy individuals from everyone else. It's the difference between working inside your business and building a business that works for you. The best part? Anyone can begin building systems. You don't need to be rich or tech-savvy. It starts with small improvements, creating routines, delegating tasks, automating small parts of your life, and thinking beyond the tasks of the moment. Ask yourself, what can I build today that will keep producing results tomorrow? That question unlocks scalable wealth. Remember, the rich grow richer because their money, systems, and ideas keep working, even when they're not. Chapter 8, they grow their wealth instead of simply guarding it. The wealthy continue rising because they prioritize expansion, not just preservation. Saving matters. Nobody becomes financially secure by spending everything they earn. But savings alone rarely create lasting wealth. The rich understand this. They don't only stash money away, they use it to multiply. Their mindset is centered on growth, not mere safety. Most people view money as something fragile that must be protected at all costs. They place funds in checking accounts or low-yield savings accounts, feeling safe but earning little. While this is better than having no savings, it doesn't build wealth. In fact, inflation and rising expenses slowly erode the value of untouched money. Wealthy people think differently. They don't let money sit still, they put it to work. They invest in assets that produce returns, stocks, rental properties, businesses, or other ventures. Their goal is simple: let money create more money, creating a cycle of compounding growth. Think of it like seeds. Saving alone is like storing seeds in a drawer. Multiplying is planting them, caring for them, and allowing them to grow into a forest. It requires patience and sometimes risk, but the long-term rewards are exponentially greater. To multiply wealth, you must shift your mindset. Growth often requires taking calculated risks and accepting that progress may come with fluctuations. The wealthy study their investments, diversify strategically, and choose opportunities that balance risk and return. They also avoid becoming overly protective. Some people cling so tightly to what they have that they miss chances to grow. The rich distinguish between foolish risk and intelligent risk, and they choose the latter. Reinvestment is another hallmark of wealthy behavior. Instead of spending all their returns, they funnel profits back into their assets, accelerating growth. This is how compounding turns modest amounts into significant wealth. Multiplying money doesn't mean gambling or chasing quick wins. It's about smart, steady expansion and learning how to let money work across multiple areas. If you want to build wealth, start thinking beyond mere saving. Ask yourself, how can I use what I already have to create more? Start small, stay consistent, and focus on growth. Wealth doesn't expand by sitting still, it expands by being put to work. The wealthy don't rely only on saving, they multiply. Chapter 9, they see risk differently. The rich get richer because they take the right risks, and avoid the ones that feel safe but aren't. To most people, risk is something to be feared. It's associated with loss, uncertainty, and danger. That's why many avoid investing, starting a business, or making bold moves, because it feels too risky. But the wealthy see risk through a different lens. They don't avoid it, they understand it, calculate it, and use it to their advantage. In fact, One of the biggest reasons the rich keep getting richer is because they know that avoiding all risk is often the riskiest thing you can do. Keeping your money in a low-interest savings account, staying at a job you hate, or never investing might feel safe in the short term, but in the long run, it often leads to stagnation, inflation losses, and missed opportunities. The wealthy know that not all risks are created equal. They separate emotional risk, fear-based decisions, from strategic risk, well-thought-out opportunities. Before making big moves, they ask smart questions. What's the potential upside? What's the worst-case scenario? Can I manage the downside if things don't go as planned? What knowledge or leverage can reduce the risk? They don't jump blindly, they prepare, learn, and surround themselves with people who've done it before. This preparation gives them the confidence to move when others freeze. Take investing, for example. While many people avoid the stock market because of fear of losing money, the rich study it. They learn about trends, diversification, and timing. They take smart risks, not emotional ones. And because they take action, they often earn more, even through the ups and downs. The same goes for starting a business. It's never without risk, but wealthy entrepreneurs know how to test ideas, manage costs, and pivot when necessary. They view failure as part of the process, not something to avoid at all costs. The rich also insure their risks. They use legal structures, insurance, and diversification to protect themselves while still moving forward. They reduce risk through planning, not by standing still. On the flip side, people who avoid all risk often stay stuck. They fear losing what little they have, so they never reach for more. This fear-based mindset creates limits. The rich break through those limits by respecting risk, not running from it. Ask yourself, what opportunities am I avoiding because of fear? Is the risk real, or is it just unfamiliar? Wealth is rarely built without risk. But it's not about being reckless. It's about being strategic, informed, and bold when the time is right. The rich get richer because they take smart risks, while others stay stuck in the illusion of safety. Chapter 10. They build wealth that lasts. The rich get richer because they don't just build wealth, they preserve it, protect it, and pass it on. For most people, wealth is something to earn, spend, and maybe save. But for the rich, wealth is something to build and sustain across generations. They're not just thinking about how much they can make during their lifetime, they're thinking about how to make that wealth last long after they're gone. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts between the rich and everyone else. The average person thinks about the next paycheck. The rich think about their children, their grandchildren, and even their great-grandchildren. They build legacy, not just income. How do they do it? First, they teach financial literacy. Wealthy families often make it a point to educate the next generation on how money works, how to invest, manage, protect, and grow it. They understand that money alone isn't enough. If you pass down wealth to someone who doesn't know how to handle it, it disappears. That's why education is just as important as money itself. Second, they plan ahead. The rich use estate planning tools like wills, trusts, life insurance, and legal structures to ensure their wealth doesn't get lost in taxes, legal battles, or mismanagement. These tools allow them to pass on assets efficiently and strategically. It's not about hiding money, it's about being smart with what they've built. Third, they build structures that last. This includes businesses, real estate portfolios, investments, or charitable foundations, things that continue to grow and produce income even after they're gone. While others might consume wealth during their lifetime, the rich think about how to leave something behind that keeps giving. Generational wealth isn't just about luxury or comfort. It's about options. The next generation gets to start from a place of security and opportunity, instead of starting from zero. That head start makes a massive difference, and it's one reason the rich continue to move further ahead over time. But here's what's important to understand. You don't have to be a millionaire to think like this. You can start building a legacy at any level, by creating good financial habits, teaching your children about money, investing wisely, and protecting your assets. Wealth that lasts isn't built by chance. It's built through vision, planning, and purpose. The rich know that real success isn't just about what you earn, it's about what you leave behind. So ask yourself, what am I building that will outlast me? What can I teach or create today that will benefit those who come after me? Because the rich don't just think about now, they think about forever. The rich get richer because they build wealth that doesn't stop when they do.